Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of 28-year-old Davonthe Van Morgan, who was last seen on May 5th in 2020 at Mt Shasta, California. He had driven out there on May the 4th with his girlfriend to go on a trip. They were staying at the Cold Creek Inn, which is a motel on North Mount Shasta Boulevard. And while there, the two got into an argument and allegedly broke up. But they did spend the night together, because they had apparently booked a room so they couldn't really go anywhere else. May 5th, the next day, his girlfriend left the motel early in the morning because she wanted to go and see a sunrise and go for a walk. At about 9 a.m. the two actually crossed paths, but they did not speak to each other. And after Davonthe left the motel, he was captured on several surveillance cameras walking downtown in Mt Shasta for about an hour. It says here covering about 2.25 miles before surveillance cameras lost track of his movements after around 10 a.m. Now, when he left, he had his wallet and his cell phone on him, but he did not have a car or any other type of transportation other than walking. He was from San Francisco, but he had never been to Mt Shasta before, so he's not familiar in the area. His cell phone last pinged to a location in Oakland, California on May the 3rd, so that's the day before they left. And his phone record and his bank account have not had any activity since he disappeared. Originally, they believed that he didn't have any money on him when he left, but the Mt Shasta police found surveillance footage where he's using cash to pay for things at a convenience store, so he may have been able to pay cash for other things as well. On May the 7th, his girlfriend actually reported him missing, and a grid search was done in a mile radius to his last known location, but no clues as to his whereabouts have been found. And it says here his family has since hired a private investigator to help with the case. According to his loved ones, he is very close with his family and would not take off without contacting someone, so him going complete radio silent here is very strange. Now, there are several videos on this case out there, but I specifically avoided watching those because those might actually influence the reading if I have a bunch of background information on this case. In any case, the case is still open. It says here was last seen wearing a black knit turtleneck shirt, black sweatpants with a white line, and red San Francisco 49ers slide-type sandals with black soles and a white SC logo. He has some distinctive physical features, such as numerous tattoos, including diamonds and money bags on the top of his left hand, or a money bag, flames on his left wrist, dollar signs, and motivation dedication on his left arm, cheetah on his right arm, and a lion on his chest. He is a cigarette smoker and walks with a slight limp and has a goatee or had a goatee at the time of his disappearance. It says here there is currently a $25,000 reward being offered for information leading to his location. And that is all she wrote. So since we don't have any information on where he went, what happened to him, where he might be now, I was asked to do a reading on this case using the tarot. And we're going to start off with the Urban deck, which is already on the table. And for any further questions, moving on to the Wise Dog Tarot, which is this one. So as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I've got a table full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's see what we got. We're starting off with the Knight of Wands upright with the Eight of Cups on its side and then followed by the Chariot. So Knight of Wands in this deck is actually the King of Wands. In case you haven't seen one of my videos previously, in this Urban Tarot deck there are no kings And basically the Queen is the highest of the court cards, I guess you could say, and that makes the Knight the highest male court card, if you want to call it that. And so I always see the Knights as the kings, and the pages are the knights, or in this case princes, and the princesses are the pages. So here's the princess right there. We'll get all to that in a moment. But in any case, so we have here a King of Wands upright, followed by this 8 of Cups on its side, which is called Indolence. And 8 of Cups is normally like trying to walk away from something, but I'm also seeing that a lot has been done already. A lot has been tried. There is boredom that's set in. This card in particular has like a whole bunch of stuff that this person has apparently been messing around with. It's got like a little creature on a horseback there, built out of different types of stationery. He's built a stack of cups and everything. It's kind of like boredom is set in. We've tried everything, and therefore we are now going to try something else with this King of Wands, who is very actionable. And this one is even called the Rock Star. So maybe he's like, you know what, who cares? I'm going to strike out and I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to try and enjoy myself and have a good time regardless of what the situation is. Next card we have here is the Chariot, which also kind of points to that direction, like things move very quickly, very suddenly, so to speak. Like he had an idea, he wanted to just enjoy himself, it looks as though, kind of walk away, kind of also not, like no plans to leave really, but just to let his hair down and have some fun. Just like this Chariot, there's this person riding on top of a car, which seems like a very risky move. So he may have done some risky things, or potentially risky things, and thinking, you know what, I'm just going to have some fun and we'll worry about the consequences later. That seems to be our starting position. So I'm guessing this is like after they lost track of him. We have the 4 of Wands in reverse. This one's called Completion, so there is something incomplete. We have the Princess of Cups, so this would be the Page of Cups in reverse. So there's this harmony, there is a sudden negative surprise. And we have here the Prince of Discs, which would be the Knight of Pentacles on its side. So there may be some incareful spending, or perhaps being forced to spend incarefully. And maybe this is somebody who is kind of pushing him to do that. So they may be falling out with somebody whom then wants something in return, demands something maybe as well, which is the negative surprise over here. The Princess of Cups is the costume designer, so it's somebody who is, in this case, very creative and just like runs into little things that may surprise them while they're working, and in this case it's the negative part of that. So they may have been trying to work on something, didn't work out, and instead they ended up in trouble with somebody else over here, possibly this person who wanted something from them. Then we have here the Princess of Wands, which is the Page of Wands on its side. The Princess of Wands, in this case called the Dancer, is somebody who is also doing some risky things, some potentially not very accepted things as well. And maybe we are slipping into this new adventure or a new demand in a way of, oh, who cares, let's go ahead, let's do it, this thing, and we'll see what happens next. And it's followed by this 7 of Pentacles, which is in reverse. 7 of Pentacles normally is you watching something ripen on the vine. The seeds that you planted are starting to ripen, and in this case he's not looking at a very good crop of harvest here. So we're looking at some negative consequences of the previous behavior. Some dust on this card, don't like that. So there is that going on. Then we have here the 7 of Cups upright. 7 of Cups is normally like a wishing for things type of card. This card is called debauch, so like debauchery, and maybe in this case a little bit too much drinking, a little bit too much indulging, more than perhaps they were thinking of doing initially. That may have led to wishing for certain things, and also has led to an issue again with harmony, because you have the 3 of Cups, but it's in reverse, called abundance. So now we are lacking for things. So we're seeing things ripen on the vine here, but we are wishing things would be different because the harmony that they were looking for or were maybe expecting is not there. We have a 2 of Wands in reverse, we have the 8 of Wands in reverse, and then we have the Prince or the Knight of Wands upright. Okay, we started off with the King of Wands over here, and now we're going to kind of like gone a step down. We're now looking at the Knight, so slightly less mature. And they are confronted with the wish to go somewhere with this Two of Wands in reverse and just not being able to go anywhere. There is no hurrying anywhere, there's no speed, there is no action, there's no messages either, because the Eight of Wands is also kind of like a communication card. And we're not able to communicate. The, in this case, Page of Wands is called the journalist. So maybe they're also thinking, if I just keep track of things, I can report on them later. Like maybe he's also keeping tabs of things, trying to get information, facts, and that type of thing. Maybe also just trying to remember names, dates, places, in case they can, I don't know, call somebody to task afterwards for what they may have done. So there is something going on there. They're unable to move anywhere, but they're trying to keep their eyes open and their ears open as well for any type of information that they can then use later to their own advantage. But let's see what we can get with the Wise Dog Tarot. So far he appears to be getting in trouble with somebody after trying to have some fun, to possibly blow some steam. And now we're trying to keep our eyes and ears peeled in order to figure out what we're going to do next. And let's see what happens after this. There. Four of Swords in reverse. Okay, so we're kind of biding our time here, and then we have the Four of Wands in reverse again. We already had the Four of Wands in reverse over there, so this may be the same issue that we had just a moment ago with somebody else. But we're not acting reactively in this case. We're kind of like holding off any type of reaction. We're taking a break, we're taking a step back, kind of like what we saw over here as well. There's no movement, so we're keeping our eyes open. And we're also trying not to draw any unnecessary, unwelcome attention, even though there is no harmony going on right now. So they may be trying to keep everybody cool, or at least try to not antagonize people, or not antagonize a situation. Maybe there's just something else going on, like he doesn't even have to be dealing with people. It could be lost in the wilderness and just not able to find his way back, just not able to go anywhere familiar, that type of thing. He was not familiar in the area, so that wouldn't even be that strange. Well, let's see, because we don't have too much information on that yet. All right, we have the Seven of Cups, but this time it's in reverse. So earlier we were wishing for things to be different. We're still doing that, but we don't have any options at this point, at least not any good ones. And then we have here the Nine of Swords also in reverse. So we're getting anxious. We're like starting to lose our cool a little bit. It's starting to turn into a long-term anxiety type situation where before they may have had some options. Right now there aren't any, and we're just kind of like, what are we going to do to get out of here? And the thoughts are definitely going back and forth on whether this or that was a good idea or a good decision. You see a couple of different color cats here, which are kind of like opposites. And it's weighing heavily on his mind, so he may be lost and anxious about it, not having any other way to get out of this situation, at least no options that he may have had earlier. So we're kind of like in a situation where things have only gotten worse. Now we have the Seven of Wands here, which is like coming for your position. He may feel challenged here. It could be he's looking at water, this dog, so it could be that he's just also challenged by the environment that he's in. Doesn't have to be a person, but it could be that there's somebody there as well who is kind of like calling him out or trying to have some type of confrontation, wanting to get something that's theirs maybe. In any case, he's fighting some opposition here because you can see that it's 6 wands versus the 1 wand that the dog has. So it's not very fair condition, and we are once again worried very much about it. And this is another sword card, 10 of Swords in reverse. We're seeing quite a bit of swords here in this row, so I'm thinking this is a lot of thoughts that are going on. There's a lot of anxiety in the thoughts, wishing they were in a different place, in better times, with other people. Maybe wishing for his girlfriend to return somehow, like just hoping that things could return back to where it was. Potentially thinking of how it could have been if they hadn't had to fight in the first place, because who knows what they would have done instead. So there's some anxiety there because the swords are words and thoughts. So this may not be an action thing. He's challenged in actions here, and there is disharmony over there. The rest is thoughts and some emotions, so we have not so much action here. I'm starting to think that there may not be another person involved, but we'll wait and see what we can get next. That one fell on my lap. It's you. All right, 9 of Pentacles is upright, so maybe he's found something. Maybe that is an enrichment of sorts. Maybe he thinks he's found something. Like beforehand, we had a lot of stress and anxiety, so it could be like, oh my god, that's amazing, I've got this and that going on, or he sees some type of opportunity there, and that is for him alone, because the 9 is usually like the individual card. That one flipped. Let's see, over here we have the Chariot. Okay, we got some movement here, so we may be actually looking at a breakthrough of the situation. We're moving somewhere, we have something that is now to our benefit. It could be that he found some type of mode of transportation, because we are moving here with the Chariots. Like maybe he found himself in the middle of nowhere, and now he's found a car or something along those lines, or a bicycle, or something that makes it possible for him to literally move on. And then we have Death that's kind of on its side, so we're not really able to let something go, but we're also not able to move on from something. So maybe even though he thinks that he's found something good, it's kind of like holding on to something that perhaps you should have let go of, and maybe a hope that is not true, something along those lines. Or he found some type of transportation, thinking that that's his ticket out of there, and then we have like an issue with that transportation, and then it's kind of like, now what? But at the same time, like if he found a bike and thought, oh, I could use this mountain bike to get off the mountain, because he may have gone into Mt Shasta itself and found a bike on the trail somewhere, and then somebody's like, hey, that's my bike, and then starts chasing after, because you have like justice in reverse here. So maybe he countered some issues there with whatever transportation he may have found, or he found something he thought that he could claim, and then it turns out that that was not the case. So there is still the problem here, and justice in reverse, meaning that things are not just. This Knight wants to go here. So Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Normally Knight of Pentacles is very particular, very steady, tends to make correct investments, and in this case we have a dog that looks like it's got his paw on top of a horse. Yeah, that's a horse over there. A little difficult to see with a little line work, but it is indeed a dog that appears to be on a horse, or claiming a horse, having the horse under control with some food over there. Kind of like a, if I take care of you, you'll take care of me type of situation. And that is usually the type of practical consideration that the Knight would have. So I'm guessing that that's what this is, or at least points towards. But in this case, it's kind of like in reverse. He may have encountered somebody, like I said, who may have claimed the transportation mode that he is thinking that he could use. But then they're trying to strike a deal or something, but may not be the best deal, or it may not actually be coming through. So we might be looking at some issues with other people here, or it just breaks down and now he's feeling the injustice of thinking that he had a way out, and then it just kind of broke down. Like the wheel is flat or something, and it turns out to be not useful to him after all. In any case, he may be trying to smooth things over, patch things over, and it's just not really working for him. Then the Knight of Swords here, or the King of Swords, is popping up. This is the Game Master. We're trying to be strategic here, maybe trying to manipulate some type of situation, or really trying to think hard about what their next move should be, trying to get all of his ducks in a row, potentially. Yeah, trying to be strategic, plan his next steps, like that type of thing. Like he is playing a game of chess and he just has to make the right moves in order to win. But it turns out that it's quite a tough game as well. He's going to need all of his concentration to get out of this. The card fell on the floor. I'm going to grab it. Three of Pentacles in reverse. So working against them. It could be that they're not cooperating with something, or they're just not doing things in the correct order and things are just not going their way. Like maybe they try a certain method that they heard would be a good way to get out of certain situations, and then for whatever reason it's not working, it's not helping. Kind of reminds me of how a lot of people, when they look up like survival type tips, they get told that moss only grows on the north side of trees, and then they walk around in the forest and like, oh, there's this side of the tree has moss on it, I guess that's north. Like that type of information that may be working against them, because that is not the case, in case you ever thought that. Moss can grow on any side of the tree, it just depends on where the shadows are. So he may be working under some false pretenses here, using information that's outdated or just plain incorrect, or misinterpreting signs that were actually not what he thought it was, and therefore worked against him. I'm just not getting the vibe that there's somebody actively going after him. I think he is just trying to get out of a situation here, and it's not going his way. Like that's what I'm seeing, and that's the kind of impression that I'm getting so far. Wheel of Fortune, yeah, we don't have a lot of good luck here. This may be things seemingly going well and then afterwards not turning out to be what you wanted. Kind of like you see a fork in the road and you're like, oh, it looks like left is the best way to go because that goes downhill rather than up. And that's surely going to take me to civilization. And he walks down the trail for a while and it ends up going up anyway because there's some, I don't know, unexpected twists and turns. They're definitely not working in his favor. So far we've seen a lot of bad luck here. This one I would count as in reverse. This is the Seven of Swords. Some type of deceit. It could just be that nobody in particular is coming after him for the deceit. It's just that things are not what they seem and it's tricking him, which is very unfortunate that he cannot seem to get his way in this case. Also, his mind might be working against him in this point as well, because we saw earlier here with the Three of Pentacles that he may be operating under circumstances that are not quite what he thinks they are, and therefore he cannot really make good decisions. And his mind may continuously be going on false positives, that type of thing. And then we have the Six of Wands on its side, Victory, which is another false positive because it's on its side. He could be thinking that he's found the way and might not be exactly what he thinks it is, for it's on its side. So he might be thinking that he's on a home stretch, but it looks like that was not the case. So there's, oops, several cards. Okay, these guys, and then there's one on the floor. On its side, the Six of Cups. All right, maybe thinking back to things in a slightly more rose-colored glasses way than they perhaps should have. This may be them thinking back to his girlfriend and how things were and hoping that, or at least wishing that things could be the same at some point. We have Knight of Pentacles. Maybe just hanging on to the hope that things can be patched up because of the situation that he's currently in. Like, I'm gonna get home, and when I get home she's gonna be so glad to see me again and everything's gonna be fine. Like that type of mindset maybe going on here, that type of emotion, melancholy type of thing. And Knight of Discs, which is basically the King of Pentacles on its side again, once again trying to be practical, but we just don't have the right information. We have the Therapist, which is the Queen of Cups in reverse. So also emotions may be working against them as well. Could also be that a lot of deep emotions that they have had in the past are now kind of like coming up, because you can really see that they're surrounded by water. This person, this therapist, has a very interesting office where everybody is in the water, and there are some large fish swimming around there. So there may be like things popping up from the past that is now demanding some attention. Death over here upright, followed by the Ace of Pentacles on its side. So maybe forced to let certain things go, And then looking for any type of opportunity that may change his luck as well, because death is upright, meaning that we are finally able to move on from something. Maybe this is also the dropping of the illusion that things are well, that things that they may have already known in their heart are not quite what they seem. And then the Ace of Pentacles on its side, trying to keep their strength up, because it is Atlas over there holding the globe on his shoulders. And also, I guess, realizing that maybe the things that he's trying to do are not as good, but just kind of hopeful that maybe he can get through it somehow. Now let's see how this ended though, because it looks like a very tricky situation where he has until recently been able to keep up appearances for himself that things are going to be okay, but now we're starting to lose that vision, and so things may have spiraled down. Let's take a look what we can get from that. Okay, so I'm guessing right now with the Fool upright like that, then he's just like trying to do anything that he possibly can, maybe trying to look for intuitive clues, things like the way the birds are flying out, trying to follow them, and just watching the nature around him to try and figure out their bearings, trying to get some grip on his situation, like that type of thing might be what's happening. Maybe also kind of asking the universe for guidance. Some people do that when they are in a dire situation. We have here the Knight of Cups. So also very much focused on our own emotions here. We're feeling very hard done by. We're feeling very alone emotionally. And kind of let go as well of any sort of pretense that things are going well. And he's got his heart in a cup here rather than on his sleeve. Dogs can't have them on their sleeve, so they're carrying their heart in their cup in this case. And that's all they can really focus on right there. And that one. Ace of Swords. All right, so we're thinking things, we're trying to come up with a plan, we're trying to come up with new initiatives, and it's not working out because it's in reverse. May still be dealing with some bad information here. And in case whatever new initiative he tries, it's not well thought through. Could be because of the Fool over there and the Knight of Cups kind of clouding his vision. Oh, that one. And the Six of Cups again, also landing on this Six of Cups as well. So now we're definitely looking into the past and just mournfully looking back on how good we had it and that type of thing. The emotions are running deep. Once again, they're with their paws in the water, thinking of past times and possibly wishing that they were back there, or just thinking of all the good times that they had, maybe to also distract themselves. Okay, that one didn't quite want to drop, so I'm going to leave it right there. Ooh. Okay, I think those are all the final cards because quite a large stack fell off the table. In any case, we have the Moon here, so maybe things are becoming more visible. He's maybe seeing some things, seeing some truth, and I also feel like this card is saying that he's kind of looking at himself as well. His own shortcomings maybe coming to light, or just thinking over things, maybe also trying to figure out if anything was hidden from him in the past. Maybe there's secrets that he's trying to figure out what they were. The Lovers is here, so maybe also trying to figure out what the whole thing was about in the first place with that argument, and maybe also wishing that he could go back and agree with her, because usually the Lovers or the Two of Cups is also a little bit like signing up for the same type of mindset. So maybe he's just trying to see her way in order to patch things up. Then we have here the Five of Swords. So going over arguments in there. Hey, there's the same dog right there. the moon dog over there in the background, looking at things, looking things over, and then we are looking at the argument and possibly also trying to argue their own side a little better, possibly, and also trying to see the other person's arguments. Hangman in reverse, yeah, again, out of perspective, so maybe we're just trying to figure out exactly what the other person was talking about. I'm guessing that's the girlfriend in this case, trying to figure out what their point of view was and how silly perhaps their argument was earlier. Emperor in reverse. I think in this last row is going to be a bit more about, are we ever going to find out anything about his whereabouts and the like, but the Emperor reverse is somebody who's supposed to take care of others and of course themselves, but they have a bit of a leadership role and things not going very well in that regard, not doing the right thing. Maybe they're also just regretting that they didn't do the right thing by the people whom he figured he should be protecting. Hermits, feeling very much alone and cast away from society over here. Strength is upright, so he is trying to be strong here, but we're unable to go away from the situation because of the Eight of Cups that follows this immediately. And the Two of Wands, again, also unable to leave. So even though they have strength here, they're not able to go anywhere emotionally or physically because this Eight of Cups is not letting them go. Like they're not fooled or not fooling themselves that they can get out of this situation. And also they know for a fact they don't know the road. Also there's like this mountain range in the background, which is interesting as well. So I really feel like he's just stuck there. Like he just got to walking, maybe thought he would go for a hike and just kind of get his thoughts in order and then end up terribly lost. That's what this looks like. So let's do a couple more cards to see if we ever find him, because this is still his situation from his point of view, but are we ever going to find him? Are we going to see any signs of where he may have been? Ten of Cups in reverse. This is an emotionally very not satisfying situation. The Sun is also on this card. I tend to notice that as well. So I'm guessing this is more like there is no light being shown on the situation. Not anytime soon in any case. So we're not going to see a very satisfying ending. There's some interference here with the Eight of Swords. It is kind of on its side though, so we have a lot of side cards in this reading. Usually we don't have that much. Anyway, so Eight of Swords is usually mental entrapment. It's on its side, so I'm guessing this is pointing towards people not really looking for the right clues in the right places. There may be some assumptions being made that they may have fallen some other type of fate than they actually have, so they may therefore be looking in the wrong places. Like, I saw some comments on one of the websites where I looked up some basic information from people who had visited the site and started to theorize about what might be going on, and a lot of them seem to assume that there was somebody involved in their disappearance. So maybe if other people also think that, then maybe there is like something there that's blocking people from looking in the right direction, and therefore, yeah, we have the Hangman here. We need a different perspective, otherwise we're going to waste all of our resources and time on the wrong thing. So I think in order to find him, we have to reevaluate the entire case and try to stay objective, only look at the facts, and then just kind of try to keep our emotions out of it. Otherwise we're going to end up being very disappointed, because we're going to keep getting into the same traps of kind of like when you're looking for something, which of course is a slightly more benign situation, but just to kind of like quickly explain what I mean. If you're looking for something and you're like, I always put it in this cabinet, and you only search that cabinet, you're not going to find it because you put it in a basket in another room, like that type of thing. So we need to kind of like start from square one, fresh look at the case, a new perspective, and then we probably have a better chance of figuring out what happened to Davonthe. In any case, that is what I'm seeing for Davonthe Van Morgan. I hope you found it interesting. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. If you want to subscribe, that's even better. I very much appreciate all the people coming in. If you have a case for me that you want me to look at, then check the description of the video, because I put a link there to an anonymous Google form where you can put the name of the case and some extra information if you have any, and then we'll get to it. It'll end up on the list. In any case, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in another video, and bye-bye for now.